This is the Game 10 press conference for Birmingham Southern after the Panthers suffer an 11-10 loss in Game 10. They finished the season with a 33-16 overall record. We're joined by head coach Jan Weisberg, along with players Eli Stedman, Jackson Webster, Tams Mullen, and JT Wisberg. Coach, opening comment about today's game and the season in general.
Yeah, obviously a lot of pain anytime your season ends, but especially in a walk-off game and one that you kind of had control of. But I'll say this, and I said it the last two games, again, very worthy of an NCAA championship when you have two heavyweights going in. And told the guys, once you get past game two, even though they got a complete game the other last night and had some rested relievers, once you get past game two, it's just about swinging it. And I thought we swung it really well. Looking back, I mean, I think some unfortunate things. Tams made a great pitch, and we didn't get it out on the slow roller. And then thinking about leave him out there, bring him in with a 5-run lead, and the way we were scoring, I felt comfortable. Okay, even if he gets up a hit, we've got Hanson and Fields and Ricky Harrison and Charlie Horn left. I felt really good about it. Yeah, maybe I should have brought Hanson in. I don't know. But the story again is these guys in their fight. They've done everything I've asked them to do all year. They competed like crazy. And going into it, as I mentioned last night, the two options for us going into any tournament like this is win or no regrets. And I have absolutely no regrets. I told the guys before we left Birmingham that I had a genuine peace about this final chapter. And whenever we either won it, there were going to be extreme tears of happiness. But if we lost, I would not have any tears of sorrow. I'm sure in the next couple days there will be a lot of crying. Even tonight as I visit with alums, maybe. But I really don't feel sadness right now, and I mean it. The ride that these guys have given me this year has been absolutely incredible. Coaching is what I love. It is extremely fun. These guys have made it so fun. It was a poignant moment in the locker room. I wanted to leave the field with my alums. I knew that coming in. And you hate to think about not winning at all because that's what you're focused on, and we're going to fight like hell to do that. But I did know when it ended that I wanted to walk off with every alum that was here, and I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to be in the locker room when I addressed the team. And it was kind of a full circle moment in there because I had my first class. When I took over, we didn't have a team. When they made the move from Division I to Division III, all the players left. So my first year was no coaching. It was just recruit a team and kind of restart the program next year. And had a group of 28 freshmen. And I think 8 of them made it to this World Series. They couldn't even go to the postseason because of NCAA rules, transitioning from 1 to 3. And I just laid out a vision for them of what I wanted this program to be and what I thought it really could be. And their job was just to lay the foundation. Their third year, they were 34-5, ranked 5th in the country, and not eligible to go to the postseason. So they got there in 3 years. But what they left the men behind them was something special. And I thanked all those other alums who took that and built another step, who built another step, who built another step. And the joy that I have, and the only reason I'm not crying right now, is I think it's pretty awesome that I had guys from 2007 who built this thing. And for these guys to get to the pinnacle, yes, it's not the final chapter we wanted, but to get to the World Series in our last year, so we had this vision of where we wanted to be, and this is the last chapter, we're here, I think is awesome. And it's job well done. It hurts a lot to lose a game like this. I'm crushed for these guys. I'm crushed for anyone that might think, that they did something, to lead to this finality, but just reminded them of all the good they've done in this.
Questions for Coach and the players?
Jan, what do you want the final message to be Birmingham Southern?
What a beautiful place it is. Was. Oh shit, here it comes. It's from was is what gets me. I know a lot of people have pride in their school, as they well should. And there's a lot of great institutions out there. We aren't different than many. But it's one of the institutions that is such a beautiful place. Physically, it is such a beautiful place. We have the best sunsets in the world. I've lived on campus there for 17 years. But with us on this trip was Richard Rector, who's been investing in this program 15 years, our faculty athletic rep, and he's just poured into our guys. But the message about Birmingham Southern is that it changed lives. It was a place where, people came as young men and women and left as mature men and women, and they went from independence to independence. I would want this message of this program to be that what this nation has seen over this last 3 weeks and the joy that we brought is exactly what this program is. It's toughness, it's championship baseball, it's great young men, and I just love it that the final chapter of Birmingham Southern, it could have easily gone off into the sunset, and not many people outside of graduates or even the Birmingham community would have known about it. But now the nation knows, that there's some pretty special things that happened here, and what a special program it is, and what a special group of young men these are.
And just to follow up on that,
Yeah.
What are you going to take away from this run?
Amazement. The word surreal has been thrown around a lot, but to look at where we were and to just see it develop and see it keep developing, and then even last night, with what happens there, it was just an amazement and just thanks. That's awesome. I mean, got to grow up on campus, and he got to see firsthand how special this program was, and I know he hasn't played a ton, but taking a field with him every day has probably been the highlight of my life, and for him to experience that. But to also see the pain that's caused and him trying to figure out what's next has been hard. But I would say I've taken away from this run just amazement of what these guys can do and pure joy of what they gave me. That feeling of when we lost to Rhodes, and I thought that was it. And there was a lot of sadness because I thought I was walking off the field for the last time potentially. But when we got this new life, it was just a different run than we've ever had. There was a peace in the dugout, and these guys can tell you that. There wasn't a don't lose mentality. It was just go take the field another day with each other. And it'll be hard tomorrow. We wake up and realize that there is no more. It'll be hard when we go home, and when we leave that locker room, we're leaving the locker room for the last time.
Questions for the players?
Yeah, for the players. Coach referenced sunsets out of the ballpark, which are just fantastic. And now you're at the sunset of the university. What are you going to take, or wherever you go in your next stage of life, from the program, from the coach, from the school that you just came from?
I would say friendships, relationships, memories, and lessons. I mean, I'm thankful to Coach Weisberg for giving me and everyone else a chance to play here. Thankful that God brought me to BSC and all the people that I've met here. Birmingham Southern, I think, has given all of us just incredible experiences that I don't know if I personally did not imagine going to play here, and just thankful. And I know Coach has taught us so many lessons about how to persevere through difficult times and everything. I don't know if that was really a lot of thoughts.
Eli, the Stedman name has been brother and son for a long time.
Yes.
And, you know, I've been there to sit there and visit with your parents when you're going through tailgating and stuff at the first base line. Just sort of say something about the folks that have supported you and the team and others for such a long time.
Yeah, well, it's not just my family. You know, my family is just a small part of the many alums and family members that we have at BSC that just makes it such a special place. I mean, I know you can speak about it because you've been at the tailgating experiences, but there's not a D3 atmosphere in the nation that's like it. It's different. It's so close-knit, and I'm extremely thankful. I know my family's extremely thankful for the opportunities it's given us. Just being able to watch games, watch my brother play there, watch my brother turn into a stud there, and getting to play there myself. So it's been an absolute blast.
You're a stud too.
Thank you, Coach.
Leah Doherty, WOIO. Eli, for you, what was that moment like when you got to walk off the field with all of the alums that were there to support you guys?
Pretty special. I wouldn't have wanted to go out any other way. I know that it's, you know, as I was coming off the field, I kind of thought it was, you know, I was angry. It was unfair. You know, we played good enough to win that game, and, you know, just a couple tilt moments changed the outcome of the game. But I honestly don't think I would change a single thing. I'm just extremely thankful that the guys, all the alums were here, guys that I got to watch play with my brother, guys that I got to play with for a little while, and guys that I've heard stories about. So I just was extremely thankful for them being here, and it was a special moment.
And Coach, for you, how do you anticipate what these next couple days are going to look like for you?
Yeah, we're gonna go have a big party right now, to be honest with you. You know, with the alums that are here and all the supporters, you know, we're just gonna go out in the park and let everybody's invited. But we are gonna celebrate it, you know, like that. You know, there will be moments, even on bus rides home, even after a win last night, you know, I cried a little bit. You know, just wondering when the last bus ride would be. But I think it's going to be a lot of up and down, you know, over the coming weeks, and that's the message that I kind of gave in the locker room, is that's okay, you know, and how we got through this was leaning on each other. But tonight is about celebrating what they did, and in the coming days, I'm sure as we get home, and like I said, there's still work to be done. We need to meet with everybody and help them figure out their future. So it won't be like a normal year where we get back and just disperse. We're going to help them get through this when we get home. We're still going to have a couple team functions, a nice team dinner, get together. But there's going to be a lot of sadness, you know, over the next few days that we're going to get through together.
Julian Mitchell, WBTM. Coach talked about it. This is for the players. Coach talked about what he hopes people who are going to see this story now take from this team. What do you all take from this team, and what do you hope others take from it yourself?
I would kind of say what Ian said about just the relationships. I think for most of us, when the game got tight tonight, I wasn't really worried about winning or losing. I just wanted one more night to be able to hang out with everyone. And I think the ride that we've had the last 3 weeks has been better than winning a national championship for me. I mean, either way, if we had won the whole thing, we're still going to get back to campus the next day, and we're all going to have to move out and say bye to your friends. So I would say it's the relationships that last more than anything we've won on this run or anything we could win. And I hope people have learned from this is the power of just people coming together with love and
You all at the end tip the cap to the fans, and I was at the Panther Walk this morning, seen some alum that have been here. Just tell me what it meant, these crowds that have come out that have been partying, tailgating all day long, and what they've done all throughout this weekend.
It really shows, you know, the tight-knit community that Birmingham Southern is all about. You know, I personally have been here for 2 years, and, you know, these guys have welcomed me up with open arms. But, you know, the alumni, you know, every single day you hear stories about them, and they show up in the locker room all the time. And, you know, every single day, you know, you don't know what's next. And I'm glad that America was able to see, you know, the type of community that Birmingham Southern was all about, and it really just shows, you know, the character, the toughness, everything about the school. You know, we're 12 hours away. You know, people were willing to, you know, make that sacrifice in their lives when they have jobs, children. all that, and you know they came up here to support us, and through everything they've always had our backs, and they always will have our backs.
We had a lot of alums that had to leave today to get back for work and obligations. A lot of them came to the hotel, but to a man said, that's all I needed was last night. You know, that's all I needed out of this was just to see that one more time, because that's what we're all about. And sad that it didn't happen today, but you know, you're in it long enough, you realize it's baseball. You know, as sad as we are, Whitewater's that happy. And they played a great game. I don't want to take anything away from them.
Janet, as a competitor, what was it like to be able to leave it all out on the field?
It was awesome. You know, it's another great life lesson for these guys, right? Is that you know, you hear it all the time. Play it, you know, like it's your last game. You know, and every weekend we've faced for the last 5 weeks has been, this may be our last weekend together. And there's been a freedom. You know, there's been a freedom with that, and it's been. That's the biggest thing, the proudest of, on the baseball side that I am with these guys, is the way that they just kept throwing, you know, and didn't let something bad get them down. They just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming, and that's that feeling of this could be our last. And you know, it was like the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning of every game. They just locked in, and it was awesome to see.
Final question for coach or players?
One more. Anyone can answer this. To walk off hand in hand in this thing as a lasting image, what did that mean?
I know for me, that's just, like I mentioned earlier, that's what I wanted. You know, I wish that there was probably only a third of the alumni today that there were the first 2 days. But they know. I mean, they're there in spirit. But, you know, I wanted this family to leave the field together. And that's just the way that whether I was retiring or whatever, like, you know, we poured so much into it, and they helped build this, and these guys know that, and they've always been invested in us. That was just kind of something that I knew that I wanted to do. You know, I hate it. I couldn't find my wife. You know, she was. In 2019, we'd been building to go to the World Series, and they were dogpiling on the field, and you know, she sat on the patio, and that's the first thing I did was go up and give her a hug. I can't leave this press conference with saying how much of this program is her. I did it again in Denison when we made it, because it was being here was really fun, but you know, in the back of my mind, because I'll be honest with you, this isn't our best club we've ever had. and it was such a tall task, you know. God, when you looked at it on paper with Denison, it's like, and then the food poisoning, whatever the hell it was, and it looked like such a tall task. And when it happened, you know, to go find her again, and she was walking in the woods because she couldn't watch the end of it, and I couldn't find her. I couldn't find her tonight. After the game, I haven't seen her yet, and I know she's heartbroken. But she's poured so much into me, and I've been short at times, you know, when I'm so focused on this game. So many messages, final messages that I've given to this team over the years are notes that she has written to me and put in my backpack, and I read it at work, or she'll leave for work and there's an envelope on the table, or you know, I'll get it down the road and there's this note from her. I'll never forget, you know, in 2017 at the regional, it was you know, talking about you have uphill aspirations, yet your goals are uphill, your habits are uphill. And man, I shared that message with the team, and I can't tell you how many times what they think is my message has been her message. With the love she has for these guys, what she's done for all of them. She's given me perspective a lot of times. And I wanted her to walk out with this. And when I couldn't find her, that's the only regret that I have. But I asked that she come into the locker room, and I really want to shine a light on her in there, and I would love for her to give a few words of wisdom to the guys, because sometimes she can be a lot better at that than me.
Gentlemen, thank you.